NJ.com reports that cops used a big blue dildo to harass men and women, so the town says that the lawsuit over the sexual harassment claims should be tossed. In other words, the town is saying that because the harassment occurred equally to everyone, that's okay, and is not sexual harassment because it did not single out any one gender.
You know, there's actually case law on point for this. There's definitely been examples where people have gone to sexual discrimination or racial discrimination, and the defense has been, I'm just a jerk to everyone, and it's been shown to be true. And if you are in fact a jerk to everyone, it's not sexual discrimination. So could work.
The incident was caught on video, reports NJ.com. Includes a laundry list of pranks involving nudity, homophobic games, and racial slurs. I don't know if this is remarkable, but the female attorney argued in court that the suing officers didn't back up their claim of a hostile work environment due to sexual harassment because they weren't targeted just at women, like I said before. Taken as true for purposes of this motion only, the allegations establish that certain male officers were equally crude and vulgar to all employees, regardless of their sex. The allegations in the complaint are troubling and scandalous, and dismissal for failure to state a claim may be unpopular, especially given the eye-popping headlines and current climate concerning sexual harassment. However, the headlines and climate cannot direct the result of this case, and the salaciousness of plaintiff's allegation does not relieve them of their obligation to plead the legally required factual bases to support the claims they have asserted. Well, that's interesting. There you go. That's where technically correct might be the best kind of correct.
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying it's right. I don't condone it, but I understand.
Yeah, it's a really interesting. As I say, like, this is a really strange situation, but we've seen this happen before. Where again, it's like the whole premise of sexual discrimination is that you are treating one sex differently than the other, and if you're just a jerk to everyone in the same way, then it's not discriminatory, even though you're being a jerk. So it could work. Should be interesting.
They did not go into detail about what the pranks and the use of Big Blue involved, but I'm imagining something right out of Super Troopers, basically.
So, in my mind, sexual harassment, even if it's done to both men and women, is still sexual harassment, and like that's still wrong.
It might be just the way that, because this is New Jersey, I believe.
Yeah,
it might be that New Jersey's sexual harassment law is written in that it has to be directed at one gender or sex or person or something, and they're saying that it's not been directed at any one particular person. It was directed at everybody. That it's general misbehavior, but not targeted sexual harassment.
Yeah, it goes exactly to this issue of how the law is written. And so when I say I've seen case law on this, it's on exactly this basis, on the way the law is written. And so I don't know whether or not New Jersey's law is written this way, or if it's written in a way of saying if you treat someone sexually inappropriately, it's a problem. So when people are saying, well, if I murder everyone, or if Harvey Weinstein said I did it to guys too, would that make it okay? No, because those statutes are written in a particular way that defense wouldn't work. But in the case of sexual harassment, sexual discrimination, there are sometimes written in a way such that you have to show a disparate treatment. And so when the statute, this is what lawyers do. We looked at each and every word of the statute, and you have to prove every element of the statute. And if one of the elements is you have to show disparate treatment, and there's not disparate treatment, then it's not a violation of the law, because that's the way it's written.
So I understand what the defense is trying to do. But from a social scientist perspective, like, even if both men and women experience the same treatment, their reactions to it and how it makes them interpret the workplace environment and how it makes them feel safe or not could differ among, men and women. That some men might find it, oh, hey, yeah, it's funny, it's a big dildo or whatever, but then some women could be like, okay, well, I'm not being shown respect as a woman, or I'm already in a boys' club and now I have to have sex toys thrown at me. Like that reaction and that feeling and how you interpret your workplace environment can differ by gender.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying that that's wrong to feel that way. And this is as proof as is ever that law is not the same thing as morality, is not the same thing as ethics. So you're making a very passionate and meaningful moral argument, even an ethics argument. But when we look to law, it's like you can argue the law is wrong or it shouldn't read that way because those are all valid policy concerns. So I'm not saying the law is right. I'm just doing what a good lawyer should do and interpret the law as it is, or as it might be. Because again, I've seen case law, not necessarily with respect to New Jersey, just in general, but I've seen case law on point that says this kind of analysis. So this might be a legal argument, which is not to say it's an ethical argument, not to say it's a moral argument. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying.
If they're able to form a successful defense based off of this, I would argue that they need to rewrite the laws, because I don't think that the laws were meant to protect sexual harassment as long as both men and women were affected. You know what I mean? Like, if this is successful,
I would tend to agree with you.
Maybe make a little amendment there, maybe.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. And yeah, Tranquility Storm, you're right. Sexual harassment and sexual discrimination is not necessarily the same thing. You're absolutely correct. I'm not arguing they are the same thing. It's a question of how the terms are defined in the law. And sometimes the harassment is written with a discriminatory element, and sometimes not. So sometimes they're distinct and sometimes not. Not saying it's good, not saying it's right, just saying it might be a viable legal argument. And if I were their lawyer, and I'd be making that argument too, if I could, because it's a viable legal argument.
Yep.
and yeah, Popescu, if somebody was chasing me with a dildo, I would find it hilarious also. But not everybody does.
Right, but you shouldn't have to make that choice at the workplace. That's part of the problem.
Right.
Is like, what if Leonard French, I'll use myself, so I'm the bad guy in this story. Let's say Leonard French is working at a large electronics store with blue and yellow logo. And on the floor, we're all good. But in the back room, we joke around, and there's Betsy Bow, a big pink... I caught it. A big pink dildo that sits in the back, and it was a fun story because a person returned an item and forgot that they had left the dildo in the box, or maybe they were upset and they returned the box with the dildo in it or something. So it's even tied to the lore of the store or something, right? But so Leonard French thinks it's fun to chase everybody with the dildo and shove it in their face and no, don't touch me with the dildo, and that's what we're talking about. That's funny for some people. However, let's switch it and let's say that someone's chasing Leonard around with the dildo and Leonard's like, no, I don't like this. What am I supposed to do? I'm at my workplace. If I start acting negative, the boss and the other employees might start to treat me like a negative Nancy. And so I've got to be very careful about how I say, no, I'm really sorry. I want to have fun with you guys too, but I just don't think I want a dildo in my face. And is that going to... So now the burden's on me. The burden's on me to figure out how I'm going to tell you that I don't want a dildo in my face and how I'm not going to get the climate, the work climate against me, and how I'm not going to piss off all of my coworkers and everything. No. That's why we have these rules. There should be basic rules. If somebody crosses a line, then, even with basic rules in place, that they get spoken to or whatever and given a chance to fix it. But other violations are just supposed to be so bad that you just fire somebody or whatever. So yeah, I understand blowing off steam and everything, but you have to figure out how to do it in a way that doesn't make other people uncomfortable at work, a place where they have to go, usually a place where they don't necessarily want to go. So now they don't want to go there because it's their workplace. They want to work, they want to make money, but they don't, they'd rather be something else. So they're going there, or school. They're going to work or school, and they're sort of a captive audience there. So you're taking advantage of the captive audience by having some fun / harassing them with a dildo. It's putting them in a very awkward position. It's funny for you. It's really not funny for someone who doesn't find it funny. And if you're on the wrong side of it, it's already bad before you. So you just don't do it. So we just don't do those things until we know that we're in that kind of climate.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with it either. If that were happening, I would feel very uncomfortable. And assuming everyone else is having a good time, the fact that I would feel uncomfortable with it would make me also feel uncomfortable, and pressure to conform and all kinds of things. So I totally see the ethics argument, because if I'm in that position, yeah, I'd be very unhappy too. But I put on my lawyer hat, and then all that disappears, and I just look at the law. So it's okay, how can I defend if I'm these guys' lawyer? How can I defend these guys? Well, this is a line of argument that might work.
Yep.
So I go explore it.
That's this part of the spaghetti at the wall defense sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, maybe in their case, they're still targeting only the things that they think will work, which is how you're supposed to do it. But you still throw all the things that you think might work at the wall and see what happens. Yeah. So I was initially a little offended at the argument, but I kind of hear it from the legal side of things. Plus...
Well, you and the channel. The channel was not thrilled with
I'm not hearing that anyone was physically assaulted or sexually assaulted with the dildo, so let me just bookend it there, that it wasn't as bad as that, if I understand the situation correctly. Not saying it couldn't be bad, just saying it wasn't as bad as that. We didn't murder anybody, or the other things that I talked about.
For some reason, when I heard this story, I thought that the police were chasing people around with dildos. like people that they were.
You can't do that, meow.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a workplace thing. I was like, all right, what defense do they have for chasing Joe Schmo in his car around with a dildo? What is this?
Okay, meow. That's the end of that story.
That was a good movie.
That was an excellent movie. I have not seen the second one, but I heard it was horrible.
They usually are.
But maybe it's good horrible. Somebody tell me in the chat or the comments below. All right, everyone, and that is our show. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and of course with us today was Kurt Mueller, your favorite patent attorney. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you to our special guest in the studio here, Kaylee.
Hello.
This is a community-supported channel. Thank you very much for supporting us on patreon.com/LJFrench. Big thank you to the following October supporters at the $50 level: Jonathon Doe, John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Andy, Kyle Mudrak, Verement, Tayne, Sean McNamara, William Gonzalez, Michael Pearce, Grunkle Marie, Terry Crisp, Richard Fournier, Michael Jones, Spirit Bear, and Jan Negrey. Thank you very much for your support, and thank you to the $5 plus supporters who are scrolling on the LED panel behind me, and I will find room for you on the crawl at the end of the thing. So please continue to send in your stories. Please continue to donate money in support of our efforts, and we will continue to deliver. I believe we did 5 videos this week for you, which is pretty cool. And please continue to sub to our channel. We are sitting at 99,814 subscribers, and we would very, very, very much like to cross over into the 100,000 subscriber range there. So thank you again for joining me. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney. Have a great Sunday and a great week. Love you all. Bye.